Do you ever get that sinking feeling that everyone else is ahead of you? You look around, scroll through social media, and it seems like your friends, your old classmates, even strangers are hitting milestones you haven't even approached. It's a heavy weight, this feeling of being behind. A recent study showed that nearly 70% of millennials feel this exact same way. It's an epidemic of too late. But what if I told you that feeling is a complete illusion? What if the problem isn't that you're behind, but that you're running the wrong race? In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to give you a clear, practical roadmap to not just catch up, but to redefine your own finish line and unlock a life that feels right for you. First, let's talk about the paradox of being behind. Why does your mind create this feeling that it's too late? It comes down to two things: routine and distortion. When your life is a loop of wake up, work, eat, sleep, repeat, your brain perceives time as moving faster. The days blur together, and suddenly a year has passed, but it feels like a month. This is the routine trap. Then, there's the distortion. We massively overestimate what we should have accomplished by now, based on some imaginary social timeline. At the same time, we completely underestimate what we can still build, what's still possible. It's a mental trick your brain plays on you, and it's time to call its bluff. So how do you figure out what actually matters? Forget the noise and the social pressure. Let's focus on the 3 real priorities for any tired adult: energy, clarity, and small victories. Your energy is your currency. Without it, nothing else happens. Clarity is knowing what direction you actually want to go, not where you think you should go. And small victories are the fuel. They build the momentum you need to keep moving. Here's a simple tool: the avoidance list. For 1 week, write down every single thing you find yourself putting off. Not the big stuff like change career, but the small annoyances, the pile of laundry, the email you need to send, the phone call you're dreading. These are the tiny energy leaks that drain you daily. Tackling this list is your first small victory. Next, let's talk about your support network. Think of your relationships like a bank account. Some people are constant withdrawals, always taking energy and leaving you depleted. Others are deposits, filling you with support and encouragement. You need to manage your accounts, and don't underestimate the power of weak ties, acquaintances, friends of friends. These are often the people who bring new opportunities and fresh perspectives. But to build these connections, you need moderate vulnerability. I'm not talking about oversharing your deepest secrets. I mean being human, admitting you don't have it all figured out. Adult loneliness is a silent progress killer. It convinces you that you're the only one struggling, which is simply not true. Opening up just a little bit can break that isolation and unlock surprising support. Now, your career. The idea of a linear career ladder is dead. Life isn't a ladder. It's more like an obstacle course. You zig, you zag, you climb over things, you crawl under others. It's about adapting and moving forward, not just upward. The key is strategic learning. Instead of trying to master one giant skill, focus on accumulating small adjacent skills. If you're a writer, learn basic graphic design. If you're in marketing, learn a bit about data analysis. These small skills stack up and make you incredibly versatile. And remember, starting something new isn't failure. It's a course correction. You're using new information to make a better decision. Every failure is just data pointing you in a new direction. One of the biggest, most invisible blockages is your energy. Think about morning you versus evening you. Morning you has plans, ambitions, and willpower. Evening you is exhausted and just wants to scroll on the couch. The goal is to close the gap between them. Start noticing what activities drain you and what activities recharge you. Does that team meeting leave you exhausted? Does a 10-minute walk at lunch give you a boost? You need more rechargers and fewer drainers. Don't try to overhaul your life overnight. Instead, focus on realistic micro-habits. Can you stretch for just 5 minutes when you wake up? Can you meditate for 3 minutes before starting work? And please don't underestimate physical movement. It's not about getting a six-pack. It's about clearing your head. A short walk can be the most productive thing you do all day, creating the mental space you need for real clarity. All right, how do we learn without the pressure of having to become an expert? First, learn by teaching. The moment you understand a new concept, explain it to someone else, or even just write it down as if you were explaining it. This solidifies the knowledge in your own mind. Second, read biographies. They are concentrated lifetimes, full of mistakes, course corrections, and eventual successes. You get to learn from decades of someone else's experience in just a few hours. And embrace deliberate amateurism. Try something new with the explicit goal of just being okay at it. Paint a bad picture, write a clumsy poem, learn 3 chords on a guitar. This breaks the spell of perfectionism that so often paralyzes us. Finally, try 15-day micro-projects. Pick a tiny goal, like writing 100 words a day or taking an online lesson for 15 minutes daily. The feeling of progress you'll generate is incredibly powerful. Let's be honest, this feeling of being behind is emotional, not factual. It's a wave of feeling that washes over you. There's a concept called the 90-second rule. When an emotion hits, the chemical process in your body only lasts for about 90 seconds. If it lasts longer, it's because you're choosing to hold on to it by replaying the thought that triggered it. You can learn to let that wave pass without getting swept away. Part of this emotional buildup comes from avoiding difficult conversations. Every time you don't speak up, don't set a boundary, or don't ask for what you need, you accumulate emotional debt. This debt weighs you down. The antidote is strategic vulnerability. Learning how to say, "I'm feeling overwhelmed and could use some help," is not a weakness. It's one of the most powerful moves you can make to clear that debt and move forward. To really unlock your potential, you need new ways of thinking. Let's look at a couple of mental models. First, second-order thinking. When you're about to make a decision, don't just ask, "What's the immediate consequence?" Ask, "And then what? Where does this lead me in 6 months? In 2 years?" This helps you avoid short-term fixes that create long-term problems. Second, inverse thinking. Instead of asking, "How can I be successful?" ask, "How could I guarantee I fail?" You might realize you're already doing things that are creating the exact problem you're trying to solve, like staying up too late or surrounding yourself with negative people. And finally, find people who are just 1 or 2 steps ahead of you, not 20. Their advice will be far more relevant and actionable than the advice of some billionaire CEO. This all leads to a minimalist life design. Stop thinking you need to have your whole life mapped out. Instead, view your life as a portfolio of experiences, and the rule is to test before you invest. Before you sign up for a year-long course, watch a few free videos on the topic. Before you commit to a new career path, have coffee with someone who does that job. Use the 5-minute experiment. Want to start meditating? Just do it for 5 minutes. Want to learn a language? Spend 5 minutes on an app. This lowers the barrier to entry so much that you have no excuse not to start. And most importantly, create your own personal metrics for success. Forget about salary or job titles. How's your energy? How light do you feel? How present are you in your daily life? Are you making progress, no matter how small? These are the things that truly define a rich life. So we come full circle. Is it too late? Absolutely not. That feeling was just a story you were telling yourself. The right moment, the perfect time to start, doesn't exist. It's a myth that keeps you stuck. The possible begins right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. So here's your single step for today. Out of everything we've talked about, pick one tiny micro action you can take as soon as this video ends. Maybe it's a 5-minute walk, maybe it's writing down that avoidance list, maybe it's texting a friend you haven't spoken to in a while. Just one small thing. And if this video gave you even a little bit of clarity, do yourself a favor and subscribe. Not for me, but for you. So that the next time you feel stuck, you'll have a reminder in your feed that it's never, ever too late. Now go take that one small step.